हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाय नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। We are seeing the 15th chapter of Gita. So Bhagavan describes this whole world as a people vriksha with its roots above and the branches below. One has to gain vairagya from this world to seek the source, the root, that above, that Brahma which is above. So having gained that vairagya, seek that source. Also, along with vairagya, we should have other qualities like nirmana moha, jita sanga dosha, adhyatma nitya, vinivritta kama, tvandvair vimuktaha. So those who are free from pride, delusion, attachment, those are dedicated to self-knowledge, free from all other desires, free from the pairs of opposites, they attain the Supreme. And having attained which, there is no more returning back to this samsara, because this jiva is Brahma only. Jiva is not different from Brahma. Jiva is the amsha of that Brahma, just as a pot space is the amsha of the total space. Similarly, the jiva is amsha of that Brahma. But due to ignorance, we don't recognize our own supreme nature, and identifying with our sukshma sharir and stula sharir, keep on taking birth. So we go from one body to another and experience the joys and sorrows. So a person who gains jnana chakshu is able to recognize this Atma as Brahma. Thereafter, Bhagavan tells us about his vibhutis. Bhagavan says this whole world, Bhagavan has already said that it is my expression only. I alone am expressing as this world. So this world is Bhagavan alone. This world is not different from Ishvara. This world is an expression of Ishvara Shakti, what we call Maya or Prakriti, and that Maya is not different from Ishvara. Maya is Ishvara Shakti alone. So in this vast world, Bhagavan shows us some vibhutis. Bhagavan says the bright, brilliant sun which you see, that brilliance is my vibhuti only. So yadadityagatam tejaha jagat bhasayate kilam yash chandramasi yash chagna tat tejo vidhi mamakam. That teja belongs to me. The teja, brilliance which is there in the sun, the brilliance which is there in the moon, the brilliance which is there in the fire, it is my own. I alone entering this earth, support the earth, keep it integrated, prevent it from falling down, going away, and remaining in this earth, I support all beings. So Gama Vishya cha Bhutani Dharayami Aham Ojasa. With my force, my power, my strength, I sustain all beings on this earth. Also, I, as a rasa, enters all the vanaspatis, aushadis, and nourish them. So, pushnami cha aushadis sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha. So, becoming that rasatmakaha somaha. That soma, full of rasa, full of juice, full of what you call nourishing juice, I support all the vanaspatis. See, basically, all of us as living beings need energy to sustain our body and our mind, our equipment. They are constantly sustained by taking energy and spending them constantly. And all energy comes from the sun. So from the sun, it comes and sustains this earth. And through the sun only, the energy comes into all these plants. They have the plants and the trees, they have the ability to directly take the energy from that sun. We may not have that ability completely, but plants, they have the ability through photosynthesis and all. They take the energy from the sun, and when we eat that plant, the leaves, we also get that energy. So the fire which is there in the sun, it enters the plants, and when we eat that plant, it enters us also. So we are sustained by that energy which is there in that sun. So Bhagavan says, becoming that rasa, I nourish all the plants, all the trees. So pushnami cha aushadis sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha. Then what happens when we eat those plants, when we eat those leaves, when we eat the vegetables and fruits? What happens? Bhagavan tells us now in the next verse, verse number 14. Aham Vaishvanaro bhutva praninam deham ashritaha pranapana samayuktaha pachamyannam chaturvidham. Bhagavan says that aham Vaishvanaro bhutva praninam deham ashritaha, that I myself becoming Vaishvanara. The Vaishvanara is Bhagavan's expression alone, who is the Lord of this waking world, through whom all the activities which are happening in this waking world, all are possible through Vaishvanara only. So he is the Lord of this waking. Hiranyagarbha is the Lord of our dream. Ishvara is the Lord of our deep sleep. So Vaishvanara, having become Vaishvanara, Bhagavan says, I have entered the body of all the beings. Even the fire which is there in us, in our stomach and in our body, that is also expression of this Vaishvanara. That fire in our stomach which helps to digest our food is also expression of Vaishvanara. It's called Vaishvanara Agni. So Bhagavan says, Aham eva Vaishvanara udarastaha agnihi. That Agni also, which is there, is expression of Vaishvanara only, which helps to digest the food which we eat. So aham Vaishvanaro bhutva praninam dehamashritaha. And becoming that, remaining in our body, bhutva ayam agnihi Vaishvanaro yo ayam antaha purushe ena idam annam pachyate. So remaining inside, that Vaishvanara digest our food. Ityadi shrutehe. Even the Upanishads, they talk about it, like Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So So Vaishvanaras son praninam pranavatam deham ashritaha pravishtaha. So entering all the beings, that Vaishvanara is present in all the beings. So entering the body of all beings, Bhagavan says that pranapana samayuktaha, getting associated with this pran and apan, taking help of this Shakti called prana and apana, Bhagavan says pranapanabhyam samayuktaha sanyuktaha pachami panktim karomi. I digest the food. I digest the food. What food? What type of food? So food is that we take is classified in 4 groups. What are the 4 types of food? Chaturvidham, 4 types of food. Chaturvidham annam. Shankaracharya ji in his commentary he writes what are the 4 types. Chatus prakaram annam, ashanam, bhojyam, bhaksham, choshyam, lehyam cha. The way we take the food inside, on the basis of that, the food is classified. Later on we will see in the 17th chapter, Bhagavan also classifies the food based on their gunas. So sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. But here the classification is done based on the way we take the food inside. So there are certain food which we have to eat, which we have to bite before we can swallow them, swallow the food. So we bite. That is called bhojyam. That is one type of food which has to be, where we have to bite it, chew it, and then swallow it. Then there are other type of food which we have to directly swallow, like water, juice, milk. We just swallow it. We don't bite. Then there are certain food which we have to suck. We have to pull that juice from inside and suck it. Like if we are eating a sugar cane and all, we have to suck that juice from the sugar cane. Or like a child sucks the milk from the mother's breast. So it is sucking. So certain food we suck and we consume. Then leya means it is leaked. Like if you want to eat honey and all, we lick it, or chutney or achar, pickle, we lick it. So biting, swallowing, sucking, licking, in this way we take the food inside our body. But once it goes inside, the Vaishvanara actually digests the food. Though outwardly we see that whatever is eaten, it is swallowed inside. It travels through the whole structure. It goes to the stomach and the intestine and all those things. So it passes through the various stages. And as it passes through the various stages, the food gets digested. And the juice, the nourishment from the food, it goes to nourish our body. And whatever is then not useful is then excreted, thrown out from the body. So all this is possible by the Shakti which is there, which is the pranas actually. The pancha prana. See, prana is the the Kriya Shakti of Ishvara, that prana itself expresses in 5 main ways in our body. Though there are upapranas also, but these are the 5: prana, apan, vyan, udan, saman. So with the help of this prana only we can digest and all the activities are possible. So when some food is taken, it is followed, pulled in by the pranas. Then before it is thrown out by apana, it is the food is balanced properly in between by samana vayu, and it is digested. The food gets digested, and the nourishment which is derived from this food is circulated throughout the body through vyana. So prana, apan, vyan, udan, saman, they all help in making this eating and digestion possible. But who is controlling this prana, apan, vyan, udan, saman? That is Vaishvanara. See, we may eat and go to sleep comfortably, but even when we are sleeping, the digestion goes on, the circulation goes on, the breathing goes on. So who is breathing for us? Who is digesting the food? It is Ishvara alone as Vaishvanara. He is doing all these things. And we shamelessly claim it as I have done it. But Ishvara alone as Vaishvanara, he does all this. So aham Vaishvanaro bhutva praninam deham ashritaha pranapana samayuktaha pachami annam chaturvidham. These 4 types of anna I alone digest, remaining in the body of all beings. The various types of animals are there and birds are there, and all of them, they eat different type of food. Our living on this earth is possible because of our constant consumption is required. We require that energy constantly, so which is supplied to us through food, through water, through other things which we consume. So not only human beings, but even animal, birds, plant, they need energy. So the plants take directly from the sun, and that also Bhagwan alone blesses them to take this energy directly from the sun. And when we eat these plants, we get that energy, which is again digested by Bhagwan. So why all this thing is told here? Because we have to remember this all the time. That is our upasana, that is our sadhana. Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji writes a very important thing, कि भोक्ता वैश्वानरः अग्निः भोज्यम अन्नम सोमः. That if we see in all the beings, who is the one who is eating the food? Who is the one who is digesting? It is Vaishvanara. So Vaishvanara alone is eating the food. All the food is eaten by Vaishvanara. Vaishvanara remaining in the heart of all beings, in the body of all beings, eat the food. And what is the food? Food is the rasa. What is that rasa? The soma. And Vaishvanara, as that Agni, he consumes that soma. Bhokta Vaishvanara Agnihi Bhojyam Annam Somaha. So all the eating which is happening in this whole world is actually done by Vaishvanara as Agni. And what does he eat? The Soma, Rasa. Because the essence of all food is that Rasa. So he is the eater of Rasa. So the interaction of Agni and Rasa or Vaishvanara and Soma itself is happening all the time. So while eating also we have to remember this. That who is the one who is eating? Vaishvanara. What is he eating? The rasa, the Soma rasa. So Bhokta Vaishvanara Agnihi Bhojyam Annam Somaha Tad Etad Upayam Agni Somau Sarvam. So all the transaction which is happening in this waking world, if we extend this, not only eating but other transaction which we do in this waking world is done by this Vaishvanara only. So etad ubhayam agni somo sarvam iti pashyataha, one who sees this, one who keeps this in mind. Bhagavan says, anna dosha lepo na bhavati. Such a person becomes free from the dosha of anna. He becomes free from any defect or any effect, what you call negative effect of food. The food will not harm such a person. The food, whatever is consumed, will not harm the person who keeps in mind that the one who is eating is Vaishvanara and what is eaten is rasa. See, in our scriptures there are stories of great Mahatmas and other saints and sages and all who could consume anything and digest. And some of the things which they did was so amazing. Very, very amazing. I have heard about the story of Dattatreya Avadhut also. He used to just wander around. And his disciple also used to be with him. And whatever people used to give, he used to just take it. Whatever. So as he was walking, he met his disciple. He was going near the disciple's place. The disciple was one who used to make different alcohol and all. So he offered it to his this saint. So he just took it and drank it. Nothing happened to him. Then the disciples also, they thought that, oh, if our Guru is eating and drinking, we can also drink. So they also drank, but they didn't have that attitude and they got totally intoxicated also. Then as the Guru went further, he met another of his disciples who was a goldsmith. And he had melted some gold. Was about to make some ornaments and all. He had melted some gold. So he saw his this great saint, his teacher. So he offered that melted gold. And the Dattatreya Avadhut just drank that gold also, melted, molten gold. And he was not harmed. Recent in our, you may say this is story of Puranas and all. But even in our recent time about Mirabai, it's so famous that she was given poison and she just drank it because the one who is drinking is Krishna and what is being drunk is also Krishna. So Krishna as Vaishvanara is drinking the rasa, Krishna rasa only, and nothing happened to her. So this is not just some story, but this is what we have to have, that firm conviction and faith that all, whatever I am eating is being eaten by that Vaishvanara only. Vaishvanara is eating. Therefore, if we keep this in our mind all the time, slowly and steadily our food will also become more and more sattvic. Also the way we consume and all will be most balanced and most perfect, because we have totally surrendered to that Vaishvanara. So not only eating, but same attitude we should extend to other activities also. Our walking, our talking, our performing any actions, everything is done by Vaishvanara. In his presence, only all activities are possible. Just as in an ocean, every wave rise and fall by the power of the ocean. The individual waves themselves don't have any power. Similarly, every action which is happening at the individual level is possible because of the totality. So, Ishvara alone as Vaishvanara makes all these things possible. So, aham Vaishvanaro bhutva praninam deham ashritaha. See, now this is a very interesting thing. Bhagwan Ishvara is not only the world, but he is also all the jivas. The world is also expression of Ishvara, and all the jivas are also expression of Ishvara. So Ishvara alone is expressing as the sun, the moon, the fire, the earth, the nourishment in all the plants, the food which we eat, but he is also the one who is eating the food. And Ishvara alone is present in us as our own self. That Atma is Ishvara alone. That is what now Bhagavan says in the next verse. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha mattasmritir jnanam apohanancha vedaischa sarvairahameva vidyah vedantakrit veda videva chaham. Bhagavan says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. I am not only in your body present as Vaishvanara, but I am present in your heart as your very self. I am the self of all. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. I am present in the hridi, in your heart, as your own self. What is this heart? Our antakarana. It is the heart. It is the very core of our personality. And in the core of our personality, in deep within, resides that Ishvara as our own self. This heart is also sometimes indicated, many places indicated as a cave in which we have to enter. It's a deep cave in which we have to enter to recognize our own innermost self. See this body, our Sthula Sharir. This body also, we understand that body also as I. I am walking, I am talking, I am a man, I am a woman, I am young, I am old. So this body is also recognized as I. But when you enter a deeper level of the body, then you come to understand the pranas which are making the body function. the prana, pan, vyan, udan, saman, the pancha pranas, they alone make the body function. And the pranas also, we identify with the pranas as I. So compared to the sharira, the pranas are inner self. So the sharir is also called Annamaya Kosh. So subtler than the Annamaya Kosh is Pranamaya Kosh. So Annamaya also we identify it as our own self. So Annamaya Atma. Subtler than that is Pranamaya Atma. Subtler than that Pranamaya Atma is Manomaya Atma. The mind and its function we identify as our own self. Subtler than that is the Vijnanamaya Atma. Subtler than that is Anandamaya Atma. And the very core of that, very support of this Anandamaya Atma is our Param Atma, the innermost self. The Pratyak Atma, the inner self. The innermost self, which is also called Kshetrajna, which is also called Jiva, which is also called Purusha. That Atma, the innermost, is in the very core of our heart. Bhagavan says that Atma is myself. I am residing in the heart of all beings. Sarvasya cha aham hridi sannivishtaha. I have entered and am present in the heart of all beings. Shankaracharya ji writes कि सर्वस्य means प्राणी जातस्य, all pranis, all beings. Aham atma san, I alone as Atma, Hridi buddhau, in the buddhi, in the antakarana, sannivishtaha, ataha matta, and remaining there through Bhagwan alone. Bhagwan says, mattaha smritihi jnanam apohanancha. All memory, all knowledge, and even forgetting things happen through me. Bhagwan alone is present there. And because of his presence as that Atma, we know things. Because of its presence, the intellect has got the ability to know. The mind gets the ability to feel. Then we also, whatever we experience and think and understand, we retain it in our memory. We not only remember, but there are lots of samskars in our memory. The vasanas are there. Even from our past infinite lifetimes, all the vasanas are stored in our chitta. They are not in the Karan Sharir. Karan Sharir is avidya roop only. There is no such Karan Sharir. It is an absence. There are only two bodies, Sthul and Sukshma. Karan Sharir is avidya rupa. And avidya is abhava rupa. It's an absence. Absence of what? Absence of knowledge that I am Brahma. And where is that absence? In our buddhi only. So in the Sukshma Sharir alone, we carry the vasanas of infinite lifetimes. Therefore, when we are in deep sleep, we are totally cut off from our vasanas and cut off from our Sthula Sharir. We are one with Ishvara. So Bhagavan says, Mattaha smritihi, from me alone there is memory. I remember by Bhagavan's grace only. Whatever we have learned, whatever we have experienced in the past, it comes to us It's like a magic. It just comes. Just as in our computer we store a lot of information, in our mobile also we have stored so many things, and whenever it is required we can retrieve it. If you have stored some images, then you go to your that picture gallery and retrieve it. So similarly, lot of things are stored in this chitta, but at a given time, what is to be retrieved and what should not be retrieved, all this is done by Ishvara alone. If we have to remember everything at all the time, we will go mad. We'll go crazy. There are certain things which we have to just forget, and there are certain things which we have to remember. At every moment, the chitta plays a very important role. Even if you have to drive, you have to remember your driving lessons. You should know, you should remember how to drive. So all that memory keeps coming as you drive. If you lose that memory, you will not be able to move even one step further. So memory plays a very important role. But memory should be expressed systematically. If it is expressed haphazardly at the wrong time, wrong places, then it will create so much of confusion. That's what sometimes happens in people's life. They start remembering things at the wrong time and feeling sad, mad, depressed, dejected. Then certain things they just can't throw it out of their mind. It keeps on holding. They just get that incident or some event just starts getting expressed. They can't forget it. Shankaracharya ji says कि एषां पुण्यकर्मिणां पुण्यकर्मानुरोधेन ज्ञानस्मृति भवतः. That this knowledge as well as memory etc. blessed by Ishvara only it happens, but Bhagwan blesses us according to our punya karma. If you have done proper punya, then at the right time, right thing we will remember. And at the appropriate time, things we will forget also, because forgetting is also as important as remembering. So punya karmanurodhena jnana smriti bhavataha. But those who are papa karmi tatha papa karminam papa karmanurupena smriti jnanayoho apohanam cha apayanam apagamanam cha. And because of papa karma, there are those who have committed sin and all. At appropriate time, they will not remember things. And they may not forget what has to be forgotten. That's the most tragic thing. In Mahabharata, that Karna, he went to learn from Parshuram ji. But then Parshuram afterwards got little annoyed with him, that you have hidden your identity from me and cheated me. So Parshuram cursed him that you will not remember what I have taught at the right time. Means it will not be available for you when you require it. So our punya plays a very important role that when whatever we have learnt and understood, that it should come for our rescue at the right time. See, just we can understand this with the help of other example in the world about our wealth. People are so wealthy and all, some people, lots of money in the bank, not only in the regular bank but also in some Swiss bank and other banks which they don't declare. So lots of wealth is there. But then they get infected by this virus. Then they are carried to the hospital and they are lying down alone there in the ICU with all the ventilators and all, alone, with all the wealth. They need support to even breathe. So, to have wealth is very good, but it is useful when it comes to our rescue at the right time. Some people have lots of family members and all, but still often they remain alone, lonely, dejected, rejected, grief-stricken. So what is the use of all these family members? So what we have also comes by Bhagwan's grace, but what we have it comes to our rescue at the appropriate time, that also by Bhagwan's grace. So if we have acquired knowledge, that knowledge also is acquired by Bhagwan's grace. Therefore this is very important. Bhagwan says, Mattaha, from me alone, smritihi, all your memory, jnanam, all your knowledge, and apohanam, and forgetfulness also comes from me. There's a saying in English, I think. What is the secret of happiness? To have a bad memory. Those who have very sharp and good memory to remember all nitty-gritties of their life, they keep on becoming more and more unhappy only every time, because they remember everything. Everything means all these negative things they remember more vividly. And there are people who write it in their diary also, all those things, bad things, they write in detail. Personal diary, secret diary. My mother-in-law said this to me in front of everyone, and this is, I felt so bad and all. Then this sister-in-law also came and she also said the following things. So they write it on this day, at this time, while sitting in the bedroom. They were sitting there. She was wearing this dress, I was wearing this dress. I was having one pakode in my hand and chai. So all details, and then they will read it, and every time they read, they go through the same experience again, and they go through the same suffering again. But there are others who experience bad things, but after few moments they forget it also. Like little children, when you scold them or do them, they will cry and all, and afterwards they will forget and they will again come and hug you and play with you and laugh and smile. So this antakarana which we have is very, very interesting. And in that antakarana, Bhagwan is residing, and he alone is helping us. He alone is expressing and managing this whole show of this antakarana. But we have to make him, we have to offer everything to him, make him our charioteer of our life, like Arjuna did. So Bhagavan says, Matta smritir jnanam apohanancha. From me alone there is memory, there is knowledge, and there is forgetfulness also from me only. Then Vedaishcha sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha. Though Bhagavan is present in our heart as our own self, though Bhagavan is present as Vaishvanara, performing all the activities in our waking avastha, all the activities are done by Bhagavan only as Vaishvanara. And Bhagavan alone is present in front of us as this world, as the brilliance in the sun, the brilliance in the moon, the brilliance in the fire. So though Bhagavan alone is present everywhere, even as our own self, very strange, we don't recognize him. We don't recognize him. So how can we recognize him? We can recognize him with the help of the Shastra, with the help of the scriptures. Scriptures means the Upanishads, the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita. They are the Praman, Vedanta Praman. Therefore Bhagavan says, Vedaishcha sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha. That in all the Vedas, through all the Vedas, you have to know me. I am the main theme. I am the main thing to be known. I am the Vedya to be known through all the Vedas. Vedaishcha sarvaihi ahameva veda. Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, Atharvaved. What is the main thing? What are they teaching? They are teaching about that Ishvara. They are teaching us about that Ishvara alone. Vedas are the Praman. Without this Praman, we cannot know that Ishvara. Because Ishvara is experienced all the time. We are experiencing Ishvara when we are seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, we are experiencing Ishvara. When we are in the waking state, we are experiencing Ishvara. When we are dreaming, we are experiencing Ishvara. When we are asleep, we are experiencing Ishvara. All the time we are with Ishvara. I myself am Ishvara. But we don't recognize him. There is no recognition. Therefore, there is no freedom from this samsara. So we have to recognize with the help of the Vedas, which Bhagavan alone have revealed. The Vedas are the natural expression of Ishvara. The Upanishad says that it is nishvasitam, like an out breath. Just as we breathe out effortlessly. Even a dying person may have difficulty in breathing in, but he just breathes out. That is the last activity which he does. Breathes out. Effortlessly. So in the same way, effortlessly, from that Ishvara alone has come all the Vedas. Vedaishcha sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha. And the theme of this Veda is Ishvara, Atindriya Vishay, which cannot be comprehended through our senses, our mind. That is revealed in the Vedas. So Vedas, the main theme of the Veda is to reveal that Supreme Ishvara, that Brahma. who is residing, who is present in us as our own self, Atma. So I am Atma Brahma. This Atma is Brahma. That's all. That's what the Vedas tell us. कि जो आत्मा है वो ब्रह्म है. So we have to understand first कि किस आत्मा की बात कर रहे हैं. Not the body, not the mind, not the senses, but that Antaratma, that innermost self, which is experienced in deep sleep, alone, separated from the gross and the subtle body, that Atma which is experienced in deep sleep, that is the inner Atma, the Kshetrajna, the Purusha, the Jiva, that Atma which we know as I, not the Ahankar. Ahankar is not experienced in deep sleep. Ahankar is also left behind. That Atma which is experienced in deep sleep, which is different from Ahankar, different from the gross and subtle bodies, that Atma is Brahma. This is told by the Vedas, because everyone experiences deep sleep, but they don't recognize. So, whether we contemplate, think, experiment, do a lot of research, meditate day and night, nothing will give us this knowledge that I am Atma Brahma. Meditation, people spend years together doing all sorts of crazy meditations. The best meditation you can do is sleep. When you are asleep, you are totally cut off from your Sthula and Sukshma Sharir, and you are one with yourself. It's the best meditation. But that meditation will not give you knowledge. So in order to gain that knowledge, we have to study the Shastra from a teacher and learn. And after gaining that knowledge, then even sleep will be like meditation. Nidra samadhisthitihi. But a foolish person, whether he sleeps or meditates, will remain foolish only. Foolish person remains foolish, whatever he does. Except if he gains that knowledge properly, that foolishness will not be eliminated by just senseless meditations. So Bhagavan says, Vedaischa sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha. I am to be known through all these Vedas. But who is the one who has revealed these Vedas? Bhagavan says, Vedanta Krit. I alone have revealed these Vedas. Through me only the Vedas have come, and I alone am the sampradaya of this Vedic knowledge. Shankaracharya ji writes कि वेदांत कृत वेदांत अर्थ संप्रदाय कृत इत्यर्थः. See, these Vedas are there. People know to chant also these Vedas. But the meaning of the Vedas can be understood only through the teacher. But the teacher, how does the teacher know about it? Because his teacher taught him. But who taught his teacher? His teacher taught him. So if you take this parampara back, then who was the first teacher? Ishvara. So Ishvara is the first teacher. So Ishvara is the one who started the parampara of the teachers and student. That is called that sampradaya. Vedanta Artha Sampradaya Krit. So he is the one who started the sampradaya of teaching, and he is the one through whom got expressed the Vedas. And who is the one who knows these Vedas? Ultimately, the one who knows is also Ishvara. Being Ishvara, we can know Ishvara. The one who finally knows the Vedas comes to know that I am Ishvara. Identifying with Ahankar, we cannot know the Vedas. When we transcend Ahankar, when we follow the path shown by the Vedas and finally come to understand the Vedas, and when we look at ourselves, who is this I who has understood the Vedas? I am that Ishvara. It's like a person who is asleep. Let us say you are a wealthy person and you are dreaming that you are a beggar. So this beggar, when he wakes up, comes to know that I am a wealthy person. So beggar knows the wealthy person, or the wealthy person himself knows that I am wealthy? The wealthy person himself knows that I am wealthy. The beggar just disappears. Similarly, the I who is ignorant just disappears, and I who knows that Brahma expresses freshly. Therefore, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi also says that ahaminasha bhaji aham taya spurati rutsvayam paramapurna sat. When this false ego, when this false ahankar disappears, then that real I shines forth by itself as paramapurna sat. Okay? More about this we will see in our class tomorrow. I hope you understand what I am saying, and if you have any questions you may ask in the comment box, but mainly you listen to it again and contemplate and understand properly. Okay? So more about this we will see in our class tomorrow. Till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana, contemplate, meditate, understand what the Shastras are saying, and we will meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, 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 Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Bole Syavar Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.